As the US presidential election approaches, markets are increasingly pricing in the chances of either candidate's victory. This week, Donald Trump's odds have improved. Since his policies are viewed as inflationary, they tend to support the dollar's rise. However, much will depend on the state of the US economy, which is also supporting the greenback. On the Thursday, the US currency began trading at a multi-month highs against most major currencies. Now let us look at how macroeconomic reports slated for release on October 18 may affect Forex. You are watching Traders Calendar. The end of this week will be influenced by data from Asia and the United States. First, Japan will release its inflation report. Given the Bank of Japan's intention to continue raising interest rates, a result close to the forecast of a 2.7% could lead to the yen's depreciation. Moreover, this report indirectly reflects wage growth that began earlier this year. This indicator is a key factor that determines the Bank of Japan's rate hike transition. A decline in inflation is likely to slow this process and add pressure on the yen. Also, on a Friday, China will release its key macroeconomic data. This year, the state of the Chinese economy has raised many questions and concerns among investors. Over the past week, several press conferences were held by high-ranking Chinese officials. The latest concluded just a few hours ago, where additional funding for the suffering housing sector was promised. Tomorrow, China will disclose a report on new house prices. Analysts expect a significant jump to 0.4% from a minus 5.3%, which would boost the yuan. An even more important report will be disclosed 30 minutes later, reflecting China's GDP growth for the third quarter. The economy is expected to slow down from the previous figure to 4.5%. Considering that Beijing aims for an annual GDP growth of around 5%, the country will need strong measures to speed up its recovery and support the weakening yuan amid deflationary pressure. A weak GDP report for the third quarter will hardly push up the yuan. On the other hand, the industrial production data could help the yuan strengthen if the forecasts are confirmed. Although the increase is expected to be modest, adjusted to 4.6% from a 0.1%, it still could provide a glimmer of a hope for the yuan buyers, especially given the negative backdrop of other reports. Meanwhile, British consumers appear to be struggling according to forecasts. Retail sales may decline from a 1% to minus 0.3% compared to last year. And this would not be favorable for the British pound, as the consumer spending not only stimulates the economy but also increases the currency's appeal for investors. The US dollar is generally considered a strong and profitable currency. However, reports at the end of this week might slightly dent that reputation. The focus is on the construction sector. Building permits are likely to fall to 1.45 million units. Since the housing sector is closely tied to many other industries and commodity markets, lower figures will, of course, negatively affect the US dollar. And the housing starts figures will extend the negative outlook for the US dollar. After the sharpest rise in 6 months, the indicator is expected to inch down by about 6,000 units. However, the US dollar will face additional challenges later this week. Several Fed Reserve officials will speak during the American session, and their comments are likely to trigger volatility in the markets. Please note that the time of publications is set in a GMT plus 3 time, and the next video review of a trader's calendar will be released on a Monday, October 21. We wish you profitable trading and see you soon.